So I want to try to make a coherent video about the topic of importance, which was my last video was about that. It's what I've been thinking about a lot since reading. I'm reading Reality Transurfing, and there was a short section. You should really get this book. I think it was like pages 120 to 132. So like 12 pages on this, not a huge amount, but this concept I think is critically important. I'm still not done with the book. I'm sure more on it's coming up. But I wanted to talk about this because it immediately struck a chord with me. It immediately resonated with my own experience and my own successes, the things that I've been really successful with in traditional terms, you know, where you could kind of see how I went from point A to point B and say, well, that's logical. And also, though, with other things where divine intelligence seems to have have been at play. Thank God I have these experiences, because with the divine intelligence being unignorably involved, because otherwise I would have a really hard time. That's my hard time, is believing that there's something else out there doing things. I know there is, but it's just like, it's hard to just fully believe it. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about was my perception of what importance is. And by importance, I mean, somebody just pulled up and the sun is shining off their car into my face. What I mean is basically something that you want in your life that you feel is of the utmost importance. So this is hard to explain. For me, money, you know, aside from not being on the street, money was never something of utmost importance to me. It didn't, whether or not I was successful at business, or whether I was just getting by or super rich, you know, whether I had a super nice car or, you know, was driving a beater, that kind of thing never really mattered all that much to me. I mean, obviously, I'm much happier to be driving a nice car than a 1991 Honda Accord with no ignition, rigged up by my ex-boyfriend from Radio Shack, with switches to start the car, a crack in the gas tank, no working speedometer, having to reach under the dashboard to turn the heat and AC on and off, broken radiator. I just got off on a tangent. I'm much happier to be driving a beautiful car that is exactly what I want than to be driving a complete and utter piece of crap. But beyond just having a car I could rely on, that never really bothered me all that much. Like, it just wasn't something where my meaning in life relied on it. It just wasn't that important. It was important, but not that important. Whereas for me, finding the right person was always of the absolute utmost importance. I believed that my life would be meaningless if that never happened. Literally, I thought about myself as an old woman looking back on my life, and that never having happened, it would have been a waste. That's how I felt. And that seemed completely reasonable to me. And everyone that I've talked to who has one of these super important things in their life that they haven't achieved either at all or fully, or that seems to be elusive, there's always an extreme level of importance placed on this thing. And now, in Reality Transurfing, he talks about the energy side of this, and it's not really important. You can kind of feel probably what I mean. If something is extremely important, the idea of not getting it creates an instant feeling of anxiety. The idea that it's not that important also creates this feeling of, meaning, it's like this importance on this thing has wrapped up in it the meaning to life, the meaning of life. That's part of it. You need this thing in order to be fulfilled as a human, and it's so important that the mere idea of not getting it is enough to make you just feel horrible. And so I've been thinking about this because I've actually found it, just having the understanding, just kind of getting what's going on, for me has automatically reduced the importance of my previous life goal, this relation. It's gone down to nothing. It's such a profound change that I'm still getting used to it after months. It was an illusion, and I can see that. My meaning in life was never going to come from another person or a relationship with another person. And I think wrapped into what that was a feeling that achieving this thing was going to save me. It was going to save me from having to deal with something that we all as human beings have to grapple with. And that is, what in the hell are we doing here? I think I focused all of my intention and made that thing important because I was able to trick myself. I bought into the illusion that thing was still out there. I could chase it, and when I found it, then everything would make sense. Or, this sense of underlying meaninglessness that I had while not having that important thing would be solved. When really this sense of meaninglessness, it's not coming from not having something. I think it comes from not knowing what the hell this all is about. And, if it's not about chasing after and getting this thing, then what is it? Like, that's where I was prior to 3 months ago, before I started experiencing this underlying sense of bliss that came with the realization that I'm the creator of everything to some degree. I'm not sure how to qualify that statement. I just know that it's true. I'm not sure what exactly that means yet. That's what I'm still figuring out. That's what this channel is about. But I innately got it, that I'm creating it all. I'm either creating everything and everyone, or I'm creating my entire experience of everything and everyone, and there is literally no difference when it comes to how I'm experiencing things. I could be creating it all or not. The only thing that matters is my experience of it, and how do I manipulate that. That's the only thing that really matters. I know that I can. I know I have 100% control over manipulating my experience of everything. And that is a tremendous relief for me. So instantly, that just relieved so much. It reduced the importance of this thing I thought I needed to almost nothing. I've experienced some sort of like waves of going back to that feeling of importance, but with a different attitude since then. But especially over the last few days, since reading about in reality transurfing, reading about this section on importance, it really clicked into place for me that the importance is an illusion. And so, man, there's just not enough time in these videos to talk about it. When the importance level of something lowers, the creation of it is more reasonable or something. It's hard to create the thing when you have this illusion pasted on top of it. Because even if you get it in some way, it's not going to give you that thing, so you think you didn't get it. Or you just can't get it at all because a part of you is so resistant. Because a part of you knows that it's an illusion. A part of you knows that deep down, knows what you're doing. by going after that thing. And so I think that interferes with the creation of it too, because part of you knows, it's like a part of you is saying to yourself, nope, you need to get it, that this is not going to give you what you think it's going to give you. And then you can have it. That, I think, is a big part of it. And another thing about that, I'm going to have to make more videos on this because there's so much going on in my mind about it. But another thing that goes in hand with that is that it's the more you value something, the more importance that is placed on something, the more that you need a thing to give you meaning, the less you can really enjoy that thing. It's like if your importance level is up here, then your enjoyment level is going to be down here. You're going to be afraid of losing it. You're going to be trying to extract something from it that it doesn't have to give you. And it's just, there's all these negative feelings, so how can you enjoy? But if your importance level comes down to where it's supposed to be, then your enjoyment level can come up to where it's supposed to be. So that became very clear to me, and I have a lot of illustrations of that in my own life. I wrote a post on Reddit in the last couple days about my car, which I feel like is a perfect example of this for me. I really wanted a specific car, but I'm not a car person, and my life doesn't revolve, my identity doesn't revolve around my car. This car is just perfect for me. It's just perfect. And it got discontinued a few years ago. The way it played out, maybe I'll post that in the comments or something. I don't want to go through the whole story, but I have this example of how it played out perfectly. And I enjoy this car, and I feel like I enjoy it perfectly. I don't need it. I don't worry about it. It doesn't provide me with any meaning it shouldn't. And I got the exact thing I wanted, and it came about in a perfect way. And so that is another thing I wanted to say in this video. And finally, regarding the meaning of life, I'm going to have to make another video about this, but this really dawned on me last night that if nothing is important, if everything in life is demoted to the level of importance that it belongs at, then what's left? I've been grappling with this question, and that underlying sense of bliss is certainly a part of it, which, I haven't been feeling despair about this, but it really dawned on me last night that I enjoy my life a lot more than I realize. There's so much to be grateful for in my life, and enjoyment of those things as sort of a baseline for your life, that's the meaning. That's the meaning, or that's the baseline experience, and everything on top of that is creating things, enjoying things. There's meaning in the present moment experience of just sitting and drinking your favorite beverage in the morning. Like, what a pleasurable experience that is. And having an interaction with someone you love, just this mundane, seemingly insignificant, that's the meaning. That's the meaning. And just playing and exploring with everything else. This is truly a dream. Today, I'm just going with the flow all day. Normally, I'm very disciplined, or I have a slave driver in me that's cracking the whip about what time is it, where am I supposed to be in my schedule. Today, I just decided I'm going to flow through the experience. I've already had to fight off the slave driver a bunch. It's 10:12, and I'm just getting to the gym. But already today, I had a conversation with somebody I don't think would have happened otherwise. So I'm going to have to be getting into that more. But I don't know. I hope this did something for somebody. I gotta go take a walk now and think about all this some more.